podcastersunplugged@gmail.com, and then on Twitter, POD Unplugged on Twitter. So let's move on to the interview portion of the show. This week, I am joined by Dr. Kyle, who specializes in family wellness care at his chiropractic and nutrition office in Southeast Michigan, with a passion for alternative healing therapies, including bioenergetic medicine and applied kinesiology. Dr. Kyle elevates your family's health using spinal adjustments and nutritional remedies. Dr. K is the founder of Michigan Family Wellness, a podcast that achieved #1 ranking in iTunes New and Noteworthy. Dr. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Dusty. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad you're on the show. So we're going to just jump right into it. Will you briefly tell us what your podcast is about?
Absolutely. So as a chiropreneur, as I like to refer to myself, part chiropractor, part entrepreneur, I was really motivated and compelled to create a community, if you will, through this medium of podcasting. So I'm really trying to create and cultivate this community of family wellness here in Southeast Michigan. And like you said, I'm using a podcast as my venue for that. But even more so, I'm really trying to be specific to the Michigan area. So think about the reach of iTunes and podcasting, it's global radio. So you could be in California, or you could be in Dubai, and you could be listening. But in terms of trying to reach a specific avatar or trying to reach a specific kind of people, I'm really looking for those actual people that are in Southeast Michigan that I can physically, help with my chiropractic and nutrition office there.
Interesting. And I think I want to touch more on that when we start talking about the business side of things and kind of how the podcast has helped you. And I'm really intrigued to figure out, you're the first person I've had on the show that the podcast is really based off geography, right? It's based off where your show is, where you're located physically. So I'm really interested to see how that has boosted, if at all, your business. Now, tell me, how did you get started into podcasting?
Yeah. So, if I wanted to be a salesperson, Dusty, or if I wanted to be a marketer, I think I would have gone to marketing school. However, my passion is chiropractic. My passion is alternative healing, spinal adjustments, physical medicine. But I'm finding that in order to exercise my passion, in order to spend more time doing the thing that I love to do, I have to do these other things along with it. Or, the method or the analogy of using, wearing multiple hats. If you've, heard of the E-Myth, you have the technician, the manager, there's all these different hats that you can wear as an entrepreneur. But honestly, I'd rather pay someone to do all this other stuff for me rather than doing it all myself. However, I do run a cash-based practice, here in Southeast Michigan. So in terms of, trying to compel or to engage or to motivate, I love that language much more than sell. When I'm trying to communicate my message to a community, to get them to trust me, to build that relationship, podcasting is one of the ways that I'm doing. You could do a blog, you can do a website, you can do social media, you can do YouTube videos. There's all these different things you can do. For me, I really resonated with, the podcasting medium because here's the thing. If I can get my voice into someone's ears and my message into their head, whenever something happens, in terms of a, like a prevention type situation or any kind of health need or, that there's tons of examples where, hey, I'm not feeling so well. It doesn't seem like I need drugs right now. It doesn't seem like I need surgery, but maybe I'll go check out that chiropractor that I've been listening to on that podcast because I know this person, I trust them, I resonate with their personality, I know that they know what they're talking about, and that's the whole idea.
All right, so let's transition into that then. So speaking of your business, you do have a business, an actual chiropractic and nutrition office that's in Southeast Michigan there. That's where it's located at. So if there's someone out there listening who is a doctor or a dentist or maybe even a landscaper or whatever their profession is, and they're based out of a specific area, what can you tell me that this podcast has done to help your business grow, or has it even become a small business in itself?
Yeah, so I would say, Dusty, there's a progression. Okay, now this may be more so related to my industry or my profession as a chiropractor, but I'm sure you can apply the concepts across different industries and different professions. So I'll use an analogy to start with. All right. You're married, you have a family and some kids. Is that right?
Yes, I have one little girl.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm just judging by the icon view here of your profile picture. Beautiful family, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So quick question. When you were dating your wife, okay, the first time you guys met, did you go right in for that kiss on the lips or whatever?
Absolutely not.
Right. So that's my point. Okay. So you develop a relationship. You get to know people first before you purchase them or before you buy them. Okay. So again, I have this business, this passion that I love doing, but I need a way to tell people where I'm at, what I'm doing, and how I have solutions to their problems. Okay. And again, it's a cash-based practice. We're not billing insurance. So again, that's kind of specific to my industry. However, it's a big ask for someone to say, hey, I'm asking you to pay out of pocket for these services. And it would really help, like, if you actually knew who I was and you had a relationship and a trust factor, if you've never heard of me before otherwise. With a podcast, someone can get to know you and get to relate to you almost from a distance, and then you're on their mobile device, you're on their tablet, you're on their computer. I just think it's a win-win situation.
So have you seen a difference or an impact from people who have listened to your audio show via iTunes or Stitcher, wherever they're finding you? Have you actually found to where there's been like a difference in people coming into your office as far as like these people who have heard you on the internet and they've actually gotten to know you, like you said, and kind of built that intimate relationship with you as they're listening to you as they run or as they exercise or whatever they're doing as they're driving and commuting? Have you found that connection through the podcast has helped you land clients in your physical business?
The answer to that question is it's a work in progress.
Okay.
So
all right.
I'm sure you can understand these things take time. It takes time to develop what I call a following or a tribe. I launched my podcast. I believe I officially went live on iTunes March 15th of this year. So honestly, I haven't been doing this for very long. So that would be my encouragement to your listenership is, I'm in the trenches right now. Yes, I achieved that coveted, new and noteworthy #1 in my category. I know those change all the time, but of course I'm going to milk that for all it's worth. But yeah, there's definitely a time component to growing your following, to growing your tribe, to the point where, yes, I do know other chiropractors who they get new patients, and on their intake forms where it says, "How did you hear about the office?" they put podcast. So that's my goal for myself, and that's the ultimate thing that I'm striving towards and working towards.
Fantastic. And then as far as monetization, are you looking just to solely link this show with your physical chiropractic business there in Michigan, or are you looking to eventually possibly expand and maybe look into other forms of monetization for the podcast?
Great question. So at this point in time, I am doing this purely out of the, kindness and passion of my heart. I really want to provide, we talked about value in our pre-chat. I really want to provide value and benefits and demonstrate relevancy and leadership for my community. And I'm not too concerned about the monetization piece yet. Now, I know that you can get sponsorships for your podcast, to have similar contact spheres come in, and you can charge them what you think you're worth. If you think your 30-second snippet is $100, you can charge them $100 to talk about their product or service on your podcast. That's awesome. That's not what I'm going for right now. However, back to that relationship component, Dusty, in terms of the online business, and this is where I see culturally, and this is where I see a lot of the entrepreneurial trends going. You want to develop that. Well, I'll say this. Before you make an offer online, okay, and this is my own personal opinion, before you have like an opt-in or before you have a call to action where people cross that line and they actually pay you money for your knowledge, your know-how, or your expertise, I really think you have to develop that relationship, and you have to have that following in that tribe and develop that trust so that when you do make that offer, or when you have that webinar or that ClickFunnel or whatever mechanism or framework you want to do, When you make that offer, the answer will be yes, of course. And then you start having people, charge things on their credit cards, send you money from their bank accounts. And that's, golden online business right there.
You have to build that trust. And that's so important to what you just said. And being someone who's created online content now for almost 10 years and provide services for businesses and companies, it doesn't happen